Greetings, gamers. This is Jared Leopold, getting ready for another. We're just going to call this whole series Hard 30 for Ashes Reborn. Um, we are at the championship game for the Phoenix Pods 2 tournament. We've got BrianB versus NoSuchMethod in the championship. Um, my pod didn't make it, but it was so close. How do you discount um, Carl, right? He almost got in there. He's the first one in here to spectate behind me as well. Um, because I didn't play either of these decks, I do not know what to expect. Except the little bit that I've heard. NoSuchMethod is rolling out a Dimona, which is going to be a fallen shell, which I'm super excited to see it in action. Um, I think fallen is a super cool summons. Hard to make it work, but when it gets rolling, it's just inevitable. Sure, I said that right. Then we also then have BrianB, the incomparable BrianB, running Hope, and Hope's just amazing, right? Hope can her ability for one die, the duplicate ability creates another summon as long as it has a one butt to it. As a side action, then you can immediately swing with it. Incredibly potent with when paired with things like uh, the peacock that makes you attack. And then I assume we're gonna have some shadow spirits in there too. Both are running ceremony, which is which is no surprise. That's from the latest set. I'm I would certainly expect that from Fallen over here. 3 dice here would indicate he's also running Meteor. That Meteor is chained right now, so you can't first five it. It used to be a favorite tactic um, with your Fallen to kill off your own allies to create more zombies. Can't do that anymore. I think Dimona's ability puts your opponent into a weird spot where you attack with your ally, then you can turn it into a 3/3 Empyrean mount. I've played with Dimona a lot, and I've had a ton of success with Dimona, and that mount does not get enough credit. It has an ability that when it attacks, you force one of your opponent's units to block when it swings. Great for taking out um, creepers. The when it's the seedling, phenomenal for doing that. It also creates board parity for your other stuff that can swing through as well. So it's got a little bit of bypass along with it. It is only a 3 butt, but that hasn't seemed to been a problem so far for NoSuchMethod. I do not know if NoSuch has won a tournament as of yet. I Because they're in the championship, both players have now qualified for the year end Phoenix League tournament, which is very exciting. The first time we're doing that this summer, this year, I should say. I believe BrianB has already qualified, but if he wasn't before, he certainly is now. All right, let's take a look at these discards. There's Lightbringer. That's what I was talking about. The Peacock, tremendously powerful when paired with that. But his allies, when they get exhausted, not a big deal. We're gonna see some Lightbringer and Lightbringer action. Cool little art. It's like any of you are Pearl fans. Looks like you see the blade right there in that drawing. Okay, let's check this out. We're trying to become better players, so let's take a look at the conjurations. We already knew Empyrean Mounts. Lightbringers, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 left on there. So what are we thinking here? All right, Butterfly Book being played by Hope, which makes sense. You can duplicate it. Oh, oof. Yeah, that. Meditate by Brian, pretty rough as it spun off one of his Shadowhound books. So that makes sense. This would be a Shadowhound deck with those 4 illusion dice. Pretty darn good. Now, I did see Brian B's game against Carl, which was a phenomenal clinic by both players of control. I know that he does have body inversion, but I don't know if he started the first 5 for this one. I don't think there'd be really a point to doing that versus Dimona. Okay, what do we see in here? Okay, we got Butterfly Monk. Now we got Ritualist. Brian, no such did boo for what, getting rid of the Calamity Golem. All right, we got 2 fallen books down. All right, the 4th book for Hope is Shadowhound. So we got a spellboard of Chant of Transfusion, Butterfly Monk, Lightbringer, Shadowhound. Got a nice mix of little weenies that do control type stuff. And then boom, here we go. Dimona. We're now looking at their own Chant of Transfusion, 2 fallen books already, in a Lightbringer. Brian's got to be a little bit wary of the Ritualist because it feeds into the Chain of Transfusion as well as the Summon Fallen. I was speaking with a colleague today about how I think the usefulness of Crimson Bomber has just gone through the roof lately. Sacrifices himself, it pings a wide board, and fills up all your books for you as well. While we're waiting for the play here, just want to say thanks so much to Plaid Hat for making this all possible, making this awesome game of Ashes. All right, No Such is the first one to summon up the Lightbringer. So BrianB has got to attack. He's got plenty of things to attack with. Ritualist, Butterfly Monk, Shadowhound. I would predict a Ritualist into the Lightbringer. And we're going Butterfly Monk into the Lightbringer. Doesn't want to attack to body because then he can just block with the Ritualist. Oh, Dimona guard is now broken, which I don't know how much of a thing that is, considering that most of his units are just going to be 1/1 tiny things. And Shadowhound comes with stock. One of the best units in the game, but also one of the most infuriating. BrianB is going to have a huge advantage here with the Shadowhound, only because we don't have any nature dice from NoSuchMethod. So that means we're not going to see Nature's Wrath. However, we could still see Rapture. All right, sacrifices an ally, acts as a one-sided Wrath, which would be very detrimental against Shadowhound because it's concealed. It cannot be targeted by attacks. You can only get with it AoEs, attack area of effect removal. So while I don't think he probably has Rapture, I'm betting he's got meteors in there somewhere. All right, No Such passes. Fine play. What does he got to lose here? Time is literally on his side. I mean, that hope ability, that duplicate, looks so much more impressive when you can duplicate a Shadowhound to come chasing over for a 3 to the face. Brutal. Alright, Hope hanging out here. 1 card in hand, 3 dice left. Does get, drops the Lightbringer, forcing No Such to attack. Alright, Ritualist into Butterfly Monk. Very safe. What I'm curious there. Oh, okay, because he's forcing the point of promoting ritualist. Okay, that makes sense. Now we're just kind of in this weird spot. We're like, well, what do we do? What don't we do? Lightbringer swings into the Lightbringer. I think we're gonna see that a lot. Okay, we have a potential blowout attack here for Brian, assuming Dimona promotes Ritualist. She can duplicate, swing with all three, and if that card is her signature card, the Void Pulse, so blow it out of the water, spin down, and hit for 7. Incredibly powerful. Now, on the plus side, oh, okay, just go slow. Neither chain has been activated. No surprise. All right, so we swung the Shadow Hound into the mount. If you can hear my family in the background, this is typical bedtime behavior. Little one's just not quite ready to give up the ghost of the day. Okay, what are we looking at here? Pretty, pretty even parity on the board, I'd say. Looks good. I mean, the Shadow Hound looks great, but as long as there's a blocker, not that impressive. We do have a frog up, so we can ping to get by. And here we go. Ritualist and the Ritualist. No Such Methods books are loaded. No board, but it looks great. Does he immediately? Yeah, immediately uses the Fallen. 2 zombies on board. 1 Shadowhound that looks incredibly ineffective versus a wall of 2. Old Salt. Nice. And chance it out. All right. Simple clearing by Old Salt right there. Shepherd to the rescue. It's going to stop the Old Salt. Shadowhound's still going to get through. Reload the Fallen books, but we're still going to get through. Shadowhound 3 to Dimona's face. In the championship game, round 1 is going to come to an end. BrianB looks to be the favored right this second. But NoSuch comes back around, top around, can put zombies out there. Fresh hand to 5. What do we've got in hand? BrianB is not happy that the chance out there, so can't really attack with the Shadowhound because NoSuch can chant the 1 wound that was on Old Salt over to the exhausted Shadowhound. And then just like that, Hope would be down 3 dice. All right, top around 2. Here we go. Dice favor Brian. We got 4 basics. No, 3 basics on Brian's side. 3, 4 on NoSuch. Really not that big of a deal. The biggest part for Hope is he's got all the illusion dice, or at least the class dice, or higher. All right, no surprise. First move by NoSuch. Get a couple zombies out there. Let's protect Dimona's face, which he's been doing a really good job with so far. And that's all he's got to do. Just keep that up. And he will eventually just win the overall grind of the game. Okay, we got a little bit of meditation. There's a second chant in the bin, as well as a Wayward Knight. It's alright. He's got a couple go aheads now to do whatever he wants. The Lightbringer Frog Ping looks very brutal here. Like, if Brian wanted to get in for 6, I mean for 8, really, he could do that and still summon up another Shadow Hound. I couldn't tell you enough to see how aggressive these decks are supposed to be. Raptor trying to go wider. A Meteor has got to look pretty good here for NoSuch if he's got it in hand. We also, for what I was talking about earlier, for the Crimson Bomber, would also just be a brutal play. Okay, BrianB makes a poke, trying to get his own chant activated by getting the herder killed, also taking out a fallen. I think he takes the damage without retaliating here. Nope, retaliates. Chant book is activated for the Hope player, for Brian. Boy, Meteor sure looks good here, doesn't it? Meditates the channel magic, which it always happens that way, right? All right, we go for another frog up. We could be going for monk, but I think I'd rather see that as a bypass ping damage. But again, without perfect information, we can't see these guys' hands, so we're not quite sure. All right, there goes Grave Knight. What are we flipping up? We went for Lion Head. Okay. Boy. Now that NoSuch has spent 4 dice, it's a very interesting game. So even if he does have Meteor in hand, when would you play it to get advantage on board? He's only got 1 ally out there, so he could only get 2 zombies. Hmm. Uses the chant. If he ends up duplicating swings with a void pulse on that ritualist, I gotta figure out why that this wouldn't have been the first thing he did at the top of the round. Why didn't he set into motion the Lightbringer? I mean, there's a lot to be said about going back and forth. Hi, my little monster. Okay. All right, no such. Go ahead to grab Shepherd of the Light. Pretty good. I don't know. He has to. He has to be running Enchanted Violinist. Okay, Phoenix Attendant. Oof, boy, we are at dice inequality here. Pretty rough. What's fascinating about this is how much No Such their board costs very little to nothing once it gets rolling. But that's the problem. It's got to get up and rolling first. Um, I mean, the chants are free. You can get a 1/1s for one. Mm, I think that's what we're doing here. I think we're just waiting. Oh, there's the ice trap from their hand, even. All right, Brian drops the Lightbringer. Okay, give me one moment. We're having a little bit of issue here. Okay. Just had to give a quick little helicopter ride for bedtime. And wouldn't you know it, we just never seem to clear those last mounds. We always crash into the pillows at the end of that. Okay, what do we miss here? So at the very end, duplicated Lightbringer. So many dice here. All right, just trying to take out the last blocker, right? Or, oh, okay, sure. All right, so duplicated the Lightbringer, swung, Phoenix had to attack. Now, if you play the Fallen, I'll eventually just pick it apart and full swing. If you don't play the Fallen, well, okay. All right. Assuming Meteor, you don't do anything. You just chill out. I like the idea of chaining over the wound from Old Salt onto Shadowhound. I don't think you're going to get any better use out of it for now. All right, we get the Fallen. I think, boy, yeah, I'm not quite sure what. I was gonna say, if you play the Fallen, I think the best case scenario is that you have to move over the Old Salt wound onto the Lightbringer, because we've had to force that. Okay, well, right, you hang out, you hope that hope plays out the Shadow Hound so you can play Meteor, and then you just kind of get mauled at that point. Tax Old Salt. Oh, okay. Nope, nope, I don't know why. Because he didn't want to pass? Hmm. I mean, either way, you get the butterfly monk out, right? Now is he just figuring to draw out the meteor? Yep. Wolf head. Spin down is some good. Alright, Hope uses the wolf head to lower down the two divine dice. Okay, force. We knew he had the Shepherd of Lost Souls. Snaps back Fire Archer. Yeah, I think you gotta do Butterfly Monk now. Yeah, Shadowhound just cannot attack with these chants up. Now without getting through first. I don't know how he's doing that. There's the butterfly monk. Battlefield of 6 on Hope, which is insane considering their spell board is 5 as well. The difference between 5 and 6, I couldn't tell you why. I couldn't give you the math or the numbers on it. It is a monster difference. All right, here we go. First chant use. Taking some blood from the old salt, putting on the exhausted Shadow Hound. Makes sense. Then passes. Did that as a sign action, then passes. What is Hope going to do here? What can Hope do here? Monk into Fallen. Can't block. Or can't guard with Dimona, so there we go. Doesn't kill it. Because he wants to keep that chant availability. Pull that off Old Salt. Games within games with Chain of Transfusion. Like, you can't just put it in your deck. You have to play with it. You have to know the best way to use it. In my humble opinion, Chain of Transfusion, by far the best new book that we got out of the latest release from Red Rains. And if you had changed it to either main or side action only, I think it's a fine book. Having it be either or, too powerful. And here we go. Top of round 3. BrianB thinks better of it and begs off the aggression. We're going into round 3. No Such has got to be feeling pretty good here. Board state wouldn't reflect that necessarily, but it happened. Let's take a look at those dice. No Such, Monster 6 Basics. Hope following up with their own 6 Basics. uh, on the plus side, Dimona has got lion heads to get the maximum value of Meteor, which he may or may not have. I don't even know. As a player, if I was facing across there, I would assume that though, especially with how the last round was played. Okay. The biggest thing, all right, we got a second book of Chant of Transfusion for Hope. The biggest basics on there is that every illusion die is basic. That is going to cause a lot of jamming up for BrianB. And also, while we're waiting for the dust to settle here, is that I also want to give a huge thank you, shout out to the folks behind Ash Techie. If you are not on Patreon supporting Ash Techie and you use this all the time, I'd highly recommend it. You can do it for cheap. I'm on there. Come join me. Let's spread the love. Let's put a little money back into this game that we've been playing for free online. If you're not buying the physical cards, then shame on you. Yeah, that's right. Shame on you. If you're in the US anyway, I know out of country it's a little bit tougher. Yes, BrianB is not wrong. He said you just had totally the most total crap and totally awesome roll of all time. Yeah, no lies detected there. All right, so now if the assumption is meteor, like how greedy do you get? Like how much more dice do you want to take? Obviously, you want their Shadow Hound. I don't think that's happening. But what is okay? Like, what's the next thing that happens here? All right. BrianB, like the smart player he is, playing some spin up, plays Channel Magic, draws a card, remove a wound, and flip 3 dice up. Only one of those was an illusion die. Interesting to note. So he's going to save those 3 other basic illusions in case or until the time is right. Play Shadowhound. There may never be a time to play Shadowhound. Alright. He also flips Fate Reflection from their hand to get a wolf head. Okay. I think he is looking at spinning down those 2 lion heads that No Such has got. Alright, No Such snaps Old Salt back into their hand with a goat head. Speaking of overpowered plays, is there a better unit for chance than Old Salt? I don't think there is. You can argue attendant with me all day long, but that's just a different playstyle. Waves just joined. I was very curious about. He was playing against Redenter in another league that I'm in for the AIL league. We are in top cuts. Um, I am on teams with both Waves in Redenter, so I just hope they had a good game. Okay, what do we do here? Okay. Old Salt smashes into a fallen. Done. High fives all around. Boom. No Such drew the 3rd fallen book. All right, let's start looking at it. No Such 10 cards in their draw pile. Hope's got 13. We are over halfway done with this game at the 25-minute mark left in the game. And both players playing a very heavy control game. I haven't seen burn on either side. This will be the first tournament in a while, I think, that we're not seeing burn represented in the top 4. Hey, there's our first Void Pulse. Go into the bin for meditation. Gets himself a goat head. Hey, there's a knight. Hammer Knight hits the ground for hope. Could create some interesting 2-for-1s. I don't know how much it helps, except to be a great blocking alert body. And I think that's what we're in for. Redemptor just joined. Says what a truly wild menagerie we have here. It is. This is fantastic. I love that we're seeing Dimona. I don't think we've had her in a championship yet. We have had Fallen, but not for a really long time. Before I joined the game, about 2 years ago at this point, I was seeing Fallen in a championship game. Hope? I don't know if they've made it to the championship game. I know they've been well represented and they've done well, but I don't know if Hope has won the whole thing. I, I mean, this is fantastic. You love to see this kind of spread out there. Okay, we are. Yeah, No Such had to take a moment to absorb the idea of a Hammer Knight. I get that. All right, plays the Old Salt that he stamped up out of his dead pile. Who are we gonna ping? Pings the Hammer Knight. Okay. And then Chance from Old Salt onto Hammer Knight, putting 2 on him. Okay. Definitely viewing Hammer Knight as the biggest threat. I mean, technically it is the biggest threat, right? The biggest blood out there. And if he wants to punch through any damage, he's got to take care of the Hammer Knight first. All right. I didn't see when Hope used their fourth illusion die. Okay. Hammer Knight into Fallen. Got him. Uses the ping damage to take out another Fallen. Okay. We got a full Hope board here. All right. Meditates, reclaim off to get ourselves a third line in. Okay. Let's Lightbringer. Interesting. So right now, yeah, BrianB said it right there. Wishing that the Shadowhound book was focused. Yeah, um, Shadowhound on its own is good. It's fine. You get it focused once, and now you're getting a good unit plus a ping. You get it focused a second time, you get two pings. It really has monster value at that level. But round one here, I got one of the books, so the other one's hiding from him somewhere. Normally, we would have seen more draw out of this by Void Pulses being cast. Apparently, Void Pulse has been hiding too. And that could be, while the game has been very close, um, that could be what ends up deciding is let's hope not getting those. But at the same time, No Such is not taking over this game by any stretch of the imagination. And he is not attempting to get that meteor down anytime soon either. Lost Souls attacks into Hammer Knight. Monk comes over to save the day. Heals up some damage from Hammer Knight, I'm gonna guess. Fallen books loaded. Seems pretty good. Okay, now we don't need to rely on Meteor now that we finally have got all three books loaded up with two allies still out there. Only the Shadowhound is not exhausted. Speaking of such, Hope duplicates it up, swings into the Old Salt Toast, loading up those Summon Fallen books again. We're getting times two on each one of them. We're now below the 20-minute mark. Very tricky game for both opponents. Competitors? I don't know if I want to say opponents, I guess. Okay. Oh, what did we do there? Meditate Bloodchains. There we go. There's the first triplets of the Fallen. Hey, y'all. What's up? To brother Daryl, my other brother Daryl. All right, you can have seven Fallen on the board, so that's a thing to keep in mind. I'm gonna guess. If only you could Lost Shepherd a Lost Shepherd, just keep that cycle going over and over again. All right, over to BrianB. I don't know, dude. Can't Lightbringer, you don't have the dice. Monking wouldn't be bad. Meditates fate reflection. Seems right. So managed to dig through his cards basically for meditation this whole time, relying on his books on board, which is something you want to do, right? We're going to end up with decks being about the same size, and just has got to be a miserable feeling for Brian right now. Not that the game is over or anything, but ooh, we're not getting through that wall of zombies anytime soon. All right, so here he goes, the slow truck trying to take out the Hammer Knight. Is this greed? I don't know. It doesn't hurt, I don't think. Worst case scenario, you're attacking into it, and he plays a second Shadow Hound, and then you play um, Schrodinger's Meteor. Like he both has it and doesn't has it. Has it. Have it right now. Okay. Uses chant. Pass. Boom. Here we go. Round 4. No such going first. He has got the board. Now, I'm going to guess that Hope's got access to Nature's Wrath. Maybe. Couldn't tell you though. All right. No such starts off Lightbringer. We're sitting on Old Salt, Shadowhound. What is he considering? I just gotta swing with the Old Salt, I would guess. Yeah, straight into it. I don't know. I still might go after a Fallen. I don't know. You just hate to have that Fire Archer step in the way, load up those books just for nothing. It was gonna happen eventually, so I can't feel too weird about it. Void Pulse blows up one of the Fallen. Drawing cards. That's our first Void Pulse. Boy, uh, you gotta feel for that. We are not getting value out of that Void Pulse. Taking out one for one Fallen, but you get to draw cards. You get to spin down, actually. The spin down is huge. We remove any surprise meteors. Again, where the whole game is based around this meteor that may or may not exist. Which I love that as a narrative to the story here. While we're getting down to the final 15 minutes on here, I also want to thank so much. These players were able to make these decks and upload them from ashes.live. You can see everyone else's decks. The championship decks from the past several years are on there too. You can, there's stuff on there for people to leave comments about their own decks, so you can kind of see what their thought process was. Definitely check it out. Ashes.live. Make all your decks there. All right, here we go. Old Salt coming in, getting a Fallen. Chant, get another Fallen. Just gonna keep machine gunning. We've got a third chain of transfusion somewhere. Must be in this last. Well, I don't know. It wouldn't be worth to flip it up and pop it on at this point, I don't think. It is free removal though, which for when you're facing this other sort of dice equity. I keep saying dice equity, and what I mean by that is that no such is not spending anything, right? He spent one die for 3/1/1s, which is crazy pants. And then when the chants are activated, they don't cost anything to use. All right. Hey, witness me. There's a meteor that was in hand. You know, meditated to get a lion head to possibly play another one. I don't know. Yeah. Finally, finally, a focused Shadowhound book. Yeah, the grind is getting to Brian. Ah, Hope is tired from all the zombie slaying. So many zombies have died. It is very impressive. Hope even looks a little bit like Sarah Michelle Gellar. Not gonna lie. Okay, what do we got here? We are No Such attacks Hope with the Fallen. Old Salt just jumping in the way of it. Uh, Curious to see if Brian just tries to play the long game. Like, he has more life, technically more cards in deck because he's got one more card in hand, right? Um, if he can keep any damage to be done, you hit sudden death, don't allow any more damage in, he wins the game. Uh, yeah, curious. We haven't seen, or I haven't seen it in gameplay, but in a championship game, I would 100% expect that to be a viable play. All right, meditated card out of hand, so now we're at even cards and deck in hand. Hope at 15 life, Dimona at 11. Oh, Phoenix Attendant pops in, doesn't activate. We still have an active Shadowhound, and Hope hasn't used their duplicate ability yet. Say the dice are pretty much even here. Hmm. Haven't seen a single Nature's Wrath in the bin for Hope. All right, here we go. All or nothing. Second Shadowhound for the first time this game hits the board as not a duplicate, as the real thing. Uses the book, hangs off a single zombie. We now have one attendant, one zombie left unexhausted on No Such Method side. We've got two Shadowhounds active on BrianB's side. And boom, use the Fox Head, lowers down the two Lion Heads down to Angel class dice and the Divine dice, which still means there's the Meteor. Meteor for one across the board. Reload the Chance for No Such. Reload the Fallen for No Such. Shadowhound's gone. What do we got left? We got Lightbringer. We got a Butterfly Monk ready to be played. Hope is boy. Yeah. Just play the Lightbringer. I think I'd be very tempted to use Chant here. Move this over. Yeah, that's fair. You don't really care about. No, you care about damage right now. We are under 10 minutes. Brian commenting that he should not have got the second Hound out there. It was a gutsy play. What are you going to do, though? You're in a situation where you are do or die, and you just got to see. Either they have the meteor or they don't. Well, no, I think you can play the long game here. I think you can just sit back and be like, all right, well, you're not going to do any damage, then let's go to overtime and I'm going to win that way. Um, you don't have to slow play it. You're just playing the control game. That's what these decks do. All right, Monk comes out. All right, exhausted Phoenix Attendant, two exhausted Old Salts. and a butterfly monk. Uh, every book that can be used on Hope's side is exhausted. That single unexhausted butterfly monk in play on their battlefield. Dimona has no books available to do anything. He just put out Summon Fallens. We got 3 zombies versus 1 butterfly monk. However, Demona's got 3 dice left, 2 of them on go heads. How do you feel about an old salt? Think you gotta feel good about that. Uh, if you can get a fire archer and promote it, that also would be amazing. Nice move by Brian. Duplicates the butterfly monk, swing into a zombie. If nothing else, get to heal yourself. Guard by NoSuch. Going down to 10 life. Single attacker on the monk. Hope guards. Back to Hope. I'm gonna guess pass. Pass. Quick pass. We're clicking as fast as we can at this point. NoSuch. Yep, snaps up the old salt, taking more damage, going down to 9 life. Plays the old salt, drops it on the monk, heals. Oh, 1. Back to Brian. Pass. Come on. There you go. Pass. NoSuch. Free reign. It's going to come back to Brian at the top of the round. Boom. Brian down to 12. There is nothing left for either player to do except count up their cards. NoSuch. Just noticing they're getting a little thin on time. That's no lie. All right, BrianB, top round. This is tough when you're at basically the 5 minute mark. There's so many options that you need to consider. I would never call anyone for slow ping in the last 5 minutes. Now, if there was obvious time before this, where it took like a long time, then I might mention it. But no, this has been a well played game. Everything above board. 2 launch competitors. Oh my God. The Crimson Bomber that I've been extolling its virtues hits play, pulls the trigger, wipes the zombies. Books are loaded for Hope. NoSuch. Heals self for 1 with the attendant. Main action, Lightbringer. Smirt. Forcing the old salt to attack. Goes after the Lightbringer, which I think you have to let go at this point. I think you really need to be eyeing your discard pile again. Snapping up another old salt for NoSuch would be a big deal. I think these are the sort of plays you need to start looking at when you get closer to overtime. Do I think overtime? Well, it's going to go to overtime. True facts. But I don't think it's going to get a different result. I don't think, but let's see what happens. I mean, what do you guys think? Viewers, what are you looking at? Both are playing control. All right, we got Shadowhound coming in. He's got that ping. Do you hit the Shepherd? Loading up the Fallen books. I don't think you can. Doesn't ping anything. Just puts it into play. It's just a body? Wayward Knight. Wayward Knight comes in, attacks Old Salt. Okay. When you're in a game getting this close, do you have to? You have to target a unit when you come in to attack. Okay. Hmm. Okay. All right. Brian's feeling the crunchiness. Gets rid of the used Shadowhound book. Gets a go ahead. I think he oh, pops out a Phoenix Attendant of his own. Is that the only one in the deck? Or no, there's one all the way down here. He must. Yeah, he got flipped over in round one. Okay. Here we are on our 30-second creature. Under 2 minutes, minute and a half. Fire Archer comes into play. Back to Brian. The youngest Leopold struggling with the realities that they have to go to bed in the background. Brian uses the attendant, heals himself for one, uses the book, auto damage the other Phoenix attendant. Oh boy, you hate to see that. They probably went to school together, and geez. Okay, old salt, no such, no such old salt into the attendant. Hope guards, evening up their life totals at 10? What madness is going on here? Every point of life, once we get to overtime, is valuable. It starts immediately when they go to overtime. Okay, Brian uses the attendant, heals himself one, uses the book, puts one on old salt. Okay. Over to no such. Phoenix attendant attacks Phoenix attendant, puts one on him, stops the life gain. BrianB at 11. No such at 10. Time. Time. No more time. Okay. Here we go. BrianB puts out Lightbringer officially into sudden death. Turn 7 in round 4 of the championship game. No such. Attacks Lightbringer with Fire Archer. Both units die. Summon books get loaded. That is going to be monster for the end game. BrianB. Hope, looking around, still has got the duplicate ability. There's only the Shepherd of Lost Souls is unexhausted. Boy, do we have? Can we hold on long enough? All right, frog up, take out the Shepherd. Loads up more on the books. Swings the Shadowhound for 3. We are at 1 basic nature die for Hope. 4 dice available for Dimona, which we can start seeing these fall and hit the board, but her battlefield is 7. So the most zombies she can get out there is 4. Now, the Chant of Transfusion book has 1 active on it. Like, is that enough? Is that enough? Oh, high drama in this championship game. Who's going to take it for the first time, Dimona or Hope? Chant from Phoenix to kill off the Hound. Pass. discards Blood Brawl from hand. Yeah, it's a tough one. Can't play it. You're gonna have to get rid of it to the. I mean, the longer the game goes off, you're gonna have to get rid of it anyway, even though it's a monster card right now. Definitely get rid of Fester. That's doing no good. Frogs up. All right, so Brian had to discard Blood Brawl and Fester from hand due to um, sudden death rules. Just to let people know that Blood Brawl was huge, but he got to decide. So whatever's left in the hand here better be awfully good. No such. Getting rid of the chance off board instead of cards in the hand. We promoting. Yeah, we are. Old Salt just got promoted to the Empyrean Mount. Brian puts out an olive branch saying, pretty sure you got this. No concession as of yet. Brian discards Butterfly Monk, the spellboard, Article Shield from their deck. 4 cards total on Hope side. 5 cards plus on Dimona, plus 3 on board with the Summoned Fallen, and he's got the Ceremonial Die to get it to activate it if he needs it. One, two, three. Every time he attacks, he's got no such is choosing to send the Fallen after the Phoenix Attendant single style. Brian just decides to stop that. It's like, all right, fine. Kills off the Fallen in retaliation. Phoenix Attendant's still on board. Brian attacks there. Full swing with Mount and the 2 Fallen. Super Smash Brothers, the Butterfly Monk, which heals 1 on Hope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he can use, yeah, to get 2 Fallen. Alright, Mist Typhoon, Old Salt from their deck. We're now down to 1 card in hand, 1 in deck. All the dice are depleted for Hope, though. Nothing left. Here's the deal, though. Demona's got is going to get 2 Fallen on board. We'll be able to attack. We've got 4 cards total. Hope's got 2. They're going to end up being pretty much even going into next round of just the drain of sudden death. No such is going first because they're also going to take fatigue damage besides sudden death once we go to the new round. Yeah. Yeah, no such just attacked the exhausted Phoenix Attendant. Um, Hope is down to 8. Yeah. Brian is explaining to No Such to stop taking actions, basically. Okay. That attack ended no such. If he had just passed, he's got top of round swing for lethal. Remember, they're going to take damage from fatigue, right? Gets in that one attack, wins. But by taxing. Oh my goodness. Oh no. Oh no such. This is purely, this is, this is purely not knowing the sudden death rules. Brian extended the concession before the game ended. Let me. Okay, here's how it works. Let me break it down for you. Um, he only had two cards left in the deck, right? So he attacks, kills off that attendant, goes back to his turn. Those two cards go away. Dimona is at 5, right? And then that's it. Takes 2 damage because he was at 7 life. Takes 2 damage, loses the two cards, and then takes 5 fatigue because he's first player. If he had just passed previously, he would have avoided those two damage. Goes down, still takes the 5 from fatigue. It still has one turn to attack at top of round to kill Brian. Okay. As it turns out, uh, Brian did extend the concession before after seeing what was happening. No such accepts it. That's the game. Your champion in of the Phoenix Pod 2 Tournament 2 of the season. Your champion is No Such Method. Congratulations to both players. It was well done. Thanks everyone for coming along for this ride. This is a tournament to be examined for the ages. It's already going to begin. You can already tell. The boards are going to be alive with the music. Speaking of the boards, if you haven't joined Ashes Reborn community, please do on Discord channel. We're there. Talk about this game. Uh, talk about, is the sudden death rules fair? Not fair? Um, who had the better deck? This was an incredible result. Thank you everyone for watching. That was amazing. Thank you from me, my little one, and my family. Have a great night. Bye bye.